Hello.
Well,
Hey,
good
Matt.
morning or good afternoon, and it's Matt West from PowerChalk headquarters in Cary, North Carolina, and today I'm glad to have back on our call today Jason Baumann, the Director of Education with USA Diving. Jason, are you with us?
I am. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Oh, in the middle, but busy, doing well.
Well, why don't you tell our audience where you are today, because I'll be there in about 2 short hours. Tell us where you are and what's going on over there. It's an exciting part of the dive world.
I'm actually in Greensboro, North Carolina here for the Junior National Championships. We are got a couple of days left here. Today we had our 14-15 girls platform and the 12-13 1-meter and 3-meter events, and following up with two 16-18 springboard events that are supposed to start about 12:30 today. So doing very well. It's a very exciting time. Got the Olympics up on the scoreboard and trying to follow our eyes on London as well as trying to do everything here. So very exciting. Top about 400 divers in the country here this week.
Well, that's an exciting time. I had the good fortune of being there the other day and saw some not only some great divers, but also passionate parents and passionate coaches, and that kind of leads us into what we're going to do today. Again, another session of PowerChalk, the motion analysis system for USA Diving, and today, again, very, very quickly, because we want to make the best use of Jason's time, just as a reminder, it's www.powerchalk.com/diving. And then if you choose to take advantage of any of our upgrades from split screen, dual screen, additional storage, use the promo code USA Diving, all caps, and that courtesy of USA Diving, you have a 50% off discount. But again, to get started, it's as simple as you signing up for your own free account and get moving. And I know that when I was in Greensboro the other day, Jason, there were plenty of parents who had heard of PowerChalk, had not quite signed on yet, but were now compelled to do so. So again, you folks that are on the broadcast today, tell your friends, pass the word. It's a great time to take advantage of renewing your USA Diving membership. Because PowerChalk comes along with that as a free service. So with that, let's go right into it. And Jason, as we talked about earlier, I'm in my account here, and I've selected a couple of dives very, very quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the first dive and pull it into the telestrator. And as you see here, it's a young man, and for you folks on the other side of this, this is in Greensboro. This was filmed, I believe, last Friday. So, Jason, why don't I go ahead and, again, tell everybody that the video timeline is down here at the bottom, and what you have the ability to do is just drag the playhead, as you see me do here, and I'll get this young man close to where he's going to dive. I'll erase that timeline, and then I'll start rolling the mouse wheel. And Jason, why don't you take over?
Yeah, this is, let's see what we got here. Well, we obviously got his position now. You know, little things here where he starts to drop down. He starts shifting his weight a little bit backwards. So right in there, Matt, if you can, where you notice where his hips are and draw a straight line between his head and his feet over the diving board, you can see kind of how all of his weight is shifted back slightly. My guess is that that's going to put him out a little bit too far in the middle of the pool, but also create some of that extra momentum, and probably his dive's going to go over just off the top of my head based on that.
So the positioning really right here, Jason, yeah, that movement that you just were describing, and where his body position is here, would it be fair to say, if I drew it from the feet, are you thinking more in terms that he would be in this position here, maybe about halfway between straight up and there?
Yeah, I'd like to see his chest more along that line, straight up and down, and then be able to get his arms through it here earlier so that it could go up off the diving board. And what you're going to see now is it's going to go backwards and a little bit out of control.
So here he goes into his twist. And what are you looking for at this particular point, Jason?
Well, what I'd like to see there is those legs nice and straight, but that, again, that's all kind of a function of the arms being not all the way through and not quite being in position where those knees are still bent. Looking pretty good here, coming around, but again, still needs to be a little tighter. Straight legs and those kind of components.
So you're looking for really wanting to have these legs be straight knees are kind of locked in that position, creating that great line. How about as he goes into his somersault or pulling out of that position?
He's doing pretty good here. Obviously, one of the components of that is you can see the openness of his pike position. If you drew, you use the angle actually piece, you can also show his how deep he is in his pike. Certainly, that's a position where he could get a lot more closed up, and get that dive finished a lot earlier and get in a much better position.
So are you thinking that his head needs to be, as I learned last week from Drew Johansson and the week before from Allison, is that really feeling like your abdominals and your upper body is moving towards the feet? Is that more the feel that you're trying to get there?
Yeah, and that both of those components, that the legs and the chest, are all moving together to get that position where you've got the really good pike position where they're together, nice and closed. And the more that you get into that position, it's a smaller deduction from the judges. So.
Okay. And for those of you who are watching today, again, as a reminder, Jason is in Greensboro and in a competition. And boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of activity out on the pool deck. Lots of divers, lots of judges. It's an education for me. Let's go ahead and move this through and see him enter the water before we pull up a comparable dive. Not quite. He's a little bit, what would you say, late?
He's a little under-rotated here, but where he is, and he's not quite early enough getting his body completely straight again. Still see he's got that angle bent at the waist and at the hips. But again, from the beginning of that, where it's moving backwards, it's really going to keep moving on him and go over. And I think he's kind of forced to line up in that position in shape to prevent it from going further over. Jess actually does a pretty good job with it there, but it is a little out of control. Certainly want to see it go higher off the diving board in the beginning.
So again, instead of making that move, if you will, going in this direction, you really want him to be thinking more in terms of going up, potentially in that line. Absolutely. So let me go ahead and erase that markup, and I'll come back over. And if you notice, again, for you people that are first-time joiners, one of the premium upgrades that we do have is obviously split screen. And so when I loaded in slot A, this one young diver, if you will, you can look at that one diver and notice that another slot appeared there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in USA diving. And let's see what comes up when I search that. Maybe I should spell that correctly, Jason. There we go. And so I can go through and sample those or go right to my favorites and pick that dive. And so I'm looking at that thumbnail, and I know that's the other diver. So I'm going to go ahead and load it and erase the markup there. And then I can toggle back and forth between the two videos. So let's go ahead and get these matched up by splitting the screen. And let's get this young guy back to where he was going to start his dive and get him right about there. And then let's do the same and get him in the same position there. So Jason, I think that they're about in the same position. Where would you like to start?
Actually, if we can just roll it forward slightly there, I believe what you're going to see is on the right, someone who's a lot more upright and be able to get that going. But even in this position here, actually, boy on the left's got a deeper knee bend. But you can see his arms don't quite all the way get through, and he's not as patient. I think both divers could actually keep their head a lot more neutral and chins in. You see both of them anticipating the twisting action and kind of leading with the head, although the diver on the right, his head is actually not quite as far back as the diver on the left, as well as certainly a lot of that knees being bent and turning a little early.
So you had said in our first analysis of the diver on the left, you were really paying attention to again those legs. not being straight, those knees not being straight here. And if I come over, as you can see here, and obviously a little different position on the twist, but knees are much straighter in this position. Is that again a key thing that you're focusing in on? Is that a byproduct, Jason, of where that diver on the left started by leaning back too much?
Absolutely. That all starts in the actual back press on the diving board, where he doesn't get his arms through on time. He starts to lean and use his shoulders and his hips kind of to initiate the somersault, whereas the diver on the right gets through a lot sooner and be able to go up and do that, so that it moves better. It's just a little, and again, they still both need to be deeper in their positions, but again, you kind of can see both of those things. Obviously, the diver on the right's a lot higher, and then also where he is in his body position there too. But as far as the overall pike positions, are better on the right, but they still could actually be improved and get a lot deeper.
So when we talk about that pike position, which may be a little bit earlier in the process than that, but even here, we're seeing that much tighter relationship, yep, at least for me, between the abdominals and the front of the thigh, if you will.
Absolutely, the hip flexors and the abdominals, and trying to pull all of that in together and move that into one position.
So here they come out of that and head towards entry. And again, we all know, I'm going to slide him over so he's a little bit more centered up. We all know about the outcome for the diver on the left, but let's look at how they compare. What do you think about the diver on the right there, Jason?
You know, I obviously think his angle of entry is a lot better. One of the things you can kind of notice, and it's may be a touch of the angle of where we are filming from, almost looks like he slightly over twists, and I probably, if we bring it back a little bit, I can, as he goes through the water, it's over twisting. But one of the things he doesn't do that's affecting that is that in this position his hands are already into his body. He never really showed kind of a T position with the arms out to the side. And so as he comes straight through the middle this way, you actually see the dive continue to turn as it goes through the water, and you kind of will start to see a little bit more of both legs. As far as his angle of entry is good, but his actual position as far as what we would call square to the judges, you're going to see both legs slightly as he continues to go in the water. It continues to twist a little bit.
Gotcha. So really just for me, that means that this side of his body is pointed a little bit more in this direction.
Absolutely.
Because he's over-rotated rather than pointing straight over toward the judges. Is that kind of a layman's way of saying it?
Exactly.
That's all I got for you is being a layman.
No, you should see a direct profile with him, and what you're seeing is more a little bit over-twisted and past the actual movement he's trying to make.
Yeah, and you can really see that in these next couple of frames as he's entered the water. He almost looks as appears that he is entering the water, at least from my viewpoint, Jason, and moving sideways with his legs.
Yeah, and that's also part of the product of his twist movement starting a little early on the diving board as well, way back at the beginning. So there's lots of little components you can pick up in that, you know, and ways for them to improve on their technique based on that.
Anything else on those two dives? If we take them back to their origins, being on the board, anything from again the setup, the actual just setup on the board before they even get started. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, take one of those. You can probably go just a starting position as far as the body goes. You know, the kid on the right, his hands are a little more back and straight up and down, whereas the boy on the left, as he brings his arms up into that position, that he's slightly in front, so that he's already moving that way. So he's already moved his hands in front of kind of the plane of his body, so to speak, such that when he drops and his hands go back, it kind of also contributes to this whole piece. And then the starting position is one of the components that is judged by the judges, where they can make up to a 1/2 to 2-point deduction. And it's not one that you see a huge piece in deduction very often and frequently, but it is one that's there. He could probably just stand a little more upright and pull those hands back.
Yeah, that's a pretty dramatic difference the difference in the hand position and the arms overhead, which, as you've said, is going to equate to him probably taking a more stronger approach from here and moving back rather than, in this particular case, more moving upright into the position.
Absolutely.
Well, good. Well, we've got Jason Baumann on the line, and again, if you have any questions for us, you can type them in. We've got Ryan Magnuson here with the PowerChalk team answering your technical questions, but if you have any questions about the actual analysis tool, let us know. We're going to probably not run as long as we normally run, and that's due to our good friend Jason Baumann having plenty to do with taking care of about 400 or 500 divers. But let's go back, if you will, Jason, and we'll pull out of the telestrator and go into I'm going to go into public videos and just go into diving, and just make sure that everybody understands that, again, the partnership between USA Diving and PowerChalk, we are very proud to call USA Diving a partner. We've had the good fortune of having Jason on board with many of these calls, along with Allison Brennan, who's just taken the position as the head dive coach at Boise State. And then last week we had a great guest appearance by Drew Johansson, one of the Olympic coaches in London right now. So for you folks at home, you got to tell people to go and sign up, and let's start using it. We also we're going to have an appearance down in Greensboro, but these sessions will continue every Wednesday. So if you have topics that you'd like us to cover, if we're not spending enough time on some things and too much on others, let us know. But the most important thing we can do is spread the word about you now having access to this incredible system at no charge, courtesy of your great partner, USA Diving. Jason, anything you want to add to that relative to the system itself or the usability?
Well, I think one of the great benefits of it is that it allows us to have a web-based way to interact and not be that single coach in a small remote location where you're the only coach and you're looking at it and you just can't seem to figure out, okay, what do I need to do here to help my person progress, so that you can actually ask for other people's opinions, including mine, and have another coach's eyes take a look at it, and you can sit there and actually both watch it at the same time through the PowerCast feature, which I think is fantastic, and it allows you to say, well, here's mine and I'm controlling it, and then say, well, here's the piece where I actually think that is, and you can get into some of those little technical, mechanical changes that maybe a person who's really good at inwards can help you get, your kids doing their inwards better. Maybe you're a really good twisting coach and you can do that. And so I think that the idea of collaboration is really one of the big components of it, and that it is a free account, and that people can go ahead and upgrade if they want, but they don't have to. But just to start using their free account and put that as part of their membership, and it really is a membership benefit that I think can help any of our coaches, athletes, really try to improve their game and step up and do that and work on better technique.
As you see, while Jason's articulating very clearly and accurately why this system is so important, I want to remind all of you in our session of last Friday with Drew Johansson, what an incredible testimony. Here we are, a system that you, a dive coach, a club dive coach, a diver, a parent, have access to, that Drew is actually using on the pool deck in London. And albeit that, as you know, Jason, the credit certainly goes to Drew and the actual divers, but he did tell us quite candidly that the PowerChalk system has meant a lot to their team about their divers being able to make adjustments very quickly. And although we don't want to brag, he did say that it had a lot to do with their being able to medal in the synchronized swimming opportunity. So we're grateful for the partnership. As you've seen while Jason was talking, I've scrolled over some of the help videos. Very easy for you to jump online and get support from us. As I go to the outline, Here's our contact information. You can send us an email to info@powerchalk.com or call us at 919-469-0180. We're always open, always willing to take a good call from a great USA Diving member. And again, it's time for you to renew those memberships and get back online, and PowerChalk's glad to be a part of that great membership program courtesy of USA Diving. Jason,
Absolutely.
anything else before we let you go back to the mayhem in Greensboro?
And no, I think the big couple little things is just that everybody can benefit from being able to do video analysis, and I think that it's I don't have this or don't have that. You've got multiple ways you can use the camera feature. If you don't have a tablet and you want to just set it up on a with a regular Handycam little video camera that you can do start and stop on and get those clips, it really is a huge benefit that you can easily upgrade and upload them down to your computer when you get done with practice and transfer them over. That makes it pretty simple as well. And so I think that's, people start, oh, it's going to be complicated, oh, it's going to be hard. I think, I'm fairly confident in having used the system is that I am maybe a little bit tech savvy, but I would not certainly consider myself to be a techie kind of person. But I think that it's very easy to use, and it's just a matter of picking it up, practicing with it a little bit, and then the usability of the apps and being able to do that with the iPhone and the Android, that all helps too. So,
well, and dovetailing off that, and I couldn't have said it any better. I just brought up on the screen here for you on the other side here that you don't have to worry about what kind of file you're going to upload or send it. We convert them all, so you see all the file types. We're computer, we're tablet and phone agnostic. We work on all of them. So if you have any kind of a challenge or a problem with being able to upload videos, we're just an email or a phone call away. We've also got live help. If you notice up on the upper right-hand corner, if you want to text in what your problem is, we'd be glad to offer any support that we can. And again, can't thank you, Jason, enough for our partnership. And know you got plenty to do there. I'm going to be out on the pool deck in a couple of hours, and we'll see each other. But thank you again for joining us today. If any of you have any questions you'd like to type in, we'll stay on for a couple of extra minutes, but we're going to let Jason get back to work. And Jason, I'll be down there in a couple of hours, and thanks for all that you do. So we're going to go ahead and let Jason go back to work and now open it up. If any of you who are on the broadcast would like to ask any questions of either Ryan Magnuson on a technical standpoint or myself, we'd be glad to take those at this time. Jason, have a good day. I'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you very much, Matt, and thanks for everything you guys do. It's a great partnership, and we're really proud of it as well. And I think everybody's going to get a lot out of this. They just got to pick it up, start trying to use it, and figure out how it best suits their needs. And have a great day. We'll see you in a couple hours, okay?
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Bye-bye.